of our animal control officers was appeared to be working as security at the gun show that was held at Harvey Hall last weekend. And I was told from Mr. Van Ness that someone saw, did you see it, or did you, the vehicle?
I saw the vehicle parked in front of like it was damage to the driver's side, and I don't know where, we have a previous report on that accident, or that damage, or did we?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Would this be male or female?
The truck, female.
The
truck
pickup.
we're having problems with.
Well, the animal control officer for the, now it used to be the south side, now
West.
the west side.
West side.
Is female, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
But I keep seeing a male driving that truck. In fact, he came in a while ago, the truck was parked, I saw him drive by and start with.
is that the other deputy?
I don't know the young man, he had a black shirt on, a pair of khaki pants.
It is the other deputy.
The other
I
deputy?
can't think of his name.
Ross?
Chris Dracula. Younger man.
It was, so I didn't know who was driving the truck and what was doing it. I understand when they're off duty, they work extra jobs. I don't have any problem if they're working at the gun show, but
Well, I don't know
I didn't
if
know
she's
that
off duty in the county vehicle. I don't.
yeah, that was my question, was she'll call that weekend.
Where'd Michael go?
Right there.
He's not listening.
Michael's not listening to us. There you go. There was a question.
The deputy constable that is supposedly off duty yet in the county vehicle working a second job.
Is that permissible?
Now I know the precinct 5 constable stopped one of his deputies from working extra in the truck, but that might be just third part. I didn't know whether it's county or.
I think that it probably is with the sheriff's parts also.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not suggesting anything was wrong.
Well, my only concern was the wreck on the truck, because I know we have a new truck in the budget for them, and if that truck's been wrecked, then we need to do some kind of insurance claim.
I didn't know anything about it being wrecked off the top of my head. I don't know if there's been a file claimed. Apparently it's still drivable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but there is a new vehicle in the budget for it as a replacement.
It's the driver's side door and maybe a little behind the cab there. Got into a 18-wheeler's tire, so the black mark fell over.
However, I want to add one additional wrinkle to this saga before you answer the question, Michael. I did magistrate warnings at the jail a couple of weeks ago, and one of the individuals whose case I handled, after reading the warrant, it was clear that precinct, well, I guess it's not by precinct anymore, that particular animal control officer was working in undercover capacity on a child predator, sexual predator.
And heard about that.
And it was in the news, saw it on TV following that. Just want to point that out to members of the court because that seems to be a continuing problem. She is an animal control officer. I understand she needs to handle calls. She is a law enforcement officer. She needs to handle calls for service when she's required. That's something that's kind of going above and beyond.
Well, I don't have a problem if this individual wants to be a police officer and investigate these crimes and all. If that's what this individual wants to do, then this individual needs to go to work for the sheriff's department or another police agency and not as an animal control officer, because the reason that this court hired these people is to do animal control. And I understand, I agree, Commissioner, if there's a commission of a crime or a backup or something like that, that's another issue altogether. But if we have someone who is initiating an investigation such as this and continuing through with it to the stage of bringing it to the courthouse, I think that's way outside the realm of what this court contemplated as being these people's duties and responsibilities.
And it's come full circle because this actually was discussed during a budget meeting early on between Ms. Wilson and I. when they asked us for some additional computer equipment or an internet connection. I can't
They were
remember.
asking for the Accurate software so they could track people, and they were also talking about the fact that they didn't have a good connection.
Because of
They
the
were
surf
restricted-
control.
Right, the surf control was restricting them from doing their sexual predator research.
You know, maybe we should just switch animal control under the sheriff's office.
Maybe
and
we
won't
should.
have this problem. And just hire some certified animal control officers.
You see that smile on the sheriff's face?
And I'm
Yeah.
sure the sheriff would be more.
Doesn't look like a smile to me.
No.
Didn't look like a smile to me.
Well, I happen to know that JB goes after the best personnel available.
That's right.
And he happens to have someone working for him that is certified and has oversaw an animal control
Correct.
division before.
Yep.
So if we could sit down maybe in the next 48 hours and work out some details that satisfy the sheriff's department, I would be more willing. I think that,
Did you hear the whistle, JB?
and this might be because the supervisor over that division has been sick, been ill, and maybe we just, there's some employees that need closer supervision than others. And I just don't know what's going on down there, but I know that I've had some calls, and I've even referred them to Ms. Lindy.
Yes, you have.
Because I didn't want you to think I was overstepping your, but, these two positions was created by the Commissioner's Court way before any of us was up here. It was to serve the citizens and pick up our stray animals and cut down these animal calls. And when you see you've got one picking up 680 and one picking up 180, I thought by shifting the lines, we might even out the caseload, but looking at the last monthly reports since we did that, of course, 1 month is not a good indicator. But, I just want to do what's best.
Well,
But we need some guidance in this animal control area.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I have never been law enforcement, but I've been around a lot of cops. You have been law enforcement. And I would think to develop a case like this one that was in the media recently would be just a little bit more than a cursory run on the computer for a couple hours on one day. This took a long, long, long time to develop this case, and a lot of time had to have been taken that was not time that was being taking care of animal control, which is what we want done.
If I'm not mistaken, that investigation began last year, so. And there was a time, some downtime where no activity occurred. But, and just regarding the suggestion on using the sheriff's department for the animal control, I see a problem with not having a centralized authority for animal control. Now, that's one thing that I think placing it under the sheriff would solve one problem. And Chief Gorman said he'd be willing to take over those duties. So,
Did he say that?
Actually, Your Honor, the judge of this honorable court caught us in a weak moment over a plate of ribs.
yes, I did, Sheriff.
Yes, he did. But it worked.
And as I
You were
recall,
right, that's why Chief is smiling.
Yeah, but it worked.
You lost that all the way around, didn't you, Sheriff?
I think we ought to look at it
I agree.
and right now, I don't think it's the time, that we need to get everything in order. I don't know about the proposal, from the animal shelter, humane shelter, the cost of that versus what it's gonna cost us to go this other way. It's something we need to look at and see what's most cost effective for the taxpayer.
Well, let's do that and have that done by next Monday,
Okay.
because this is something we need to nail down, and I'm fine. I think we need at least 4 officers, and I'm fine with them being located under central
Well,
authority.
I think we actually need one to do animal cruelty investigations as well. If we're gonna do it.
I'd
do
say
it
3
right.
animal control officers and 1
well,
investigator.
let's hear from the sheriff, because we discussed some of these details.
Yeah, I would like to discuss this and the budget issues with you, because we would want And I want the court to know it's not a position that I want. I do this because the court is asking me to.
And we know that, Sheriff, we really
I
appreciate it.
really don't.